Welcome to MumAbroad's YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by Senida Kiehl. She's an education consultant. She holds an MA in educational leadership and her areas of specialisation include teacher training and school leadership. She's worked with ministries of education and the British Council and other government agencies all over the world in Europe, Asia, Africa and the Middle East. Senida is founder of Excellence in Expat Education, helping families to choose the best fit educational options for their children. Welcome, Senida.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with MumAbroad, and I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you for joining me today. Senida, what would you say are the benefits of an international school education?
They're multiple. I will start with simply international community. If you go to an international school, you automatically end up in a community of various nationalities, backgrounds, religions. So this multicultural environment is extremely beneficial, not only for the years that you're in school, but it helps you see life through a global perspective. In the future, when these children move to other countries, assimilation, integration is much easier. Children also develop lots of language skills. In countries where children are not necessarily expatriates, but simply move into international school because they want a different kind of education, our research shows that the main interest is for the children to be able to function very well in another language, for example, English. And so mastering a different language is another great benefit. Great academic standards, of course. International schools in many countries in Europe, but not only in Europe, are regarded as great education. Usually people have to pay for this education. As a result, the demands are very high and schools know that, and they try to produce and to provide the best education via best teachers, best facilities, best support system. So they're trying their best to offer what you're paying for. And usually international education is considered very good quality as well. And again, it means that the children in the future will benefit for more or better work opportunities. International education gives you this international network, again, not only for the years of study, but for life in the future as well.
What are the most important things to consider when choosing an international school, in your opinion?
Yeah, loads of them. Loads of them, yes. For me, I think that I would start with maybe the most important thing, academics. One of the guarantees that you can have that the school is a good school is that it's part of a global network of education. There are many of them, but let's say BSO, British School Abroad. So you know that this is a reliable organization, which if it gives accreditation to, if a school gets accredited by BSO, it's quite a guarantee that academically that school is good for your children. So we need to make sure that sure that we ask these questions. A lot of parents are afraid to ask questions because they think that they might be too picky. They might seem too intrusive and maybe difficult to please. But there are certain questions that we need to ask in order to have the best picture about the school, especially if we cannot visit such school. Of course, facilities. You want your child to study hard, but you also want your child to develop physically, emotionally. There's more to studying than just books and learning and like the academic aspect of it. Yeah, a dedicated support system. What happens if your child has educational needs? What happens if your child has language barriers? Does the school provide any language support or any learning support for children who might need something like that? I would ask the management for the different school policies. I want to ensure that the children are safe. We want to make sure that they don't have that they have policies which apply to the children's every day. For example, if a school say, yeah, we have an anti-bullying policy, I also ask them, how do you ensure that kids are aware of it? How do you ensure that children understand what a bully is and how to deal with it and what to do in case something like that happens? I would also consider expat support, or let's say newcomers, because, for example, I'm differentiating just because, for example, I'm a Spanish family living in Spain, but I want my kids to go to an international school. So in that case, let's call it newcomer support. Whereas if you're a foreigner who moves to a different country as an expatriate, I would call it expat support. So that's the only difference. But basically, the idea would be the same. As parents, we're always concerned about how our children are going to integrate into a new environment, new teacher, new children, new everything. And basically, the school should make you aware of what they do to help your child get the best experience in the school. Some schools have a buddy system, so the child comes into the class and he's or she is given a friend, a buddy, and then other schools allow parents to come and, depending on the age of the children, to visit the classroom, to sit there with the kids. When you move to a different country, you do need the school to come up with a support system for expatriates as well. It's not difficult just for children. It's very difficult for the parents who move to a different country, and it's difficult especially for the spouse who does the school rounds, because maybe the spouse who goes to work has it a little bit easier because you go to work, that's your life, you know what to do. But the spouse that does the school rounds needs to deal with the communication with the school, making sure the children know what to do when they go to school, but also somehow integrate into the school routine and school life. And that's a lot to take in. It's not.
Senida, you have an 8-year-old son. So from your own experience, what have been the biggest concerns for you when moving countries and choosing schools?
So when I chose my son's school as an educator, I wanted an international community. I wanted my son to feel perfectly integrated from day one. What that means is that there were children of various nationalities, various languages, various races, various religious backgrounds, and there was no difference between my son and these children. They were all unique in their personality, in their nationality, in their background, but at the same time, they blended just nicely with everybody else. Of course, I also wanted a school where the academic standard was very high. And this was not only important for the time here in Cairo, but we're not here for long. And that means that the next school he's going to go to in another country, he's going to be assessed. Our children, expatriate children, are assessed many times in their life, because they need to every time we move, the school wants to ensure that they're at the academic standard desired to continue their studies. And as a result, I wanted a school which had the best educators, because I want him to be prepared when in a year or two we have to move to another country. So I was looking for that. We were looking for a school that would give us a sense of family. And this is where expert support plays a role. Some schools have this ability to make you feel so welcomed, and they quickly introduce you to parents who do things and activities, and or parents with children like your child, and they quickly encourage play dates, and then they have on-premises activities again, not during the pandemic, just to make sure. I'm not talking about now, but usually like normal times, and everything makes you feel part of the family. And these are the best schools, the schools that make you feel like you belong there, not only your child but you as a parent. So yeah, these were the main concerns, and the school we found certainly ticks all the boxes.
Senida, obviously your own experience as an expat parent has influenced you greatly in your business model, in starting your business. You work with an advisory board when you assess schools. How did you choose the team that you work with?
So like I said, my company came to exist as a result of this need for to identify the best international schools for expatriates, not only in a particular country but around the world. As soon as we knew that this was a viable business opportunity, business idea, I knew that I couldn't do this alone. And I knew that I needed like-minded people and professionals to do something, to come up with this business. I cannot assess a school on my own. I needed some professionals to back me up, to back up our framework. And we needed to look like a trustworthy entity, people who know what they're talking about. And then this is exactly how we decided to start, how we came to exist as an advisory board. We are, all of us, we are expatriates as well as parents and educators. So what that means is that we bring the experience of expatriation, the anxiety, and the all the good stuff of living abroad, as well as the desire as parents to have the best education for our children. But then as educators, we have the experience that we need to know what a good school looks like. We know when we assess a school, if this is a great school or a good school for our children. We don't only just visit the premises. We don't just tick boxes. When we assess schools, we ask to sit in their classrooms. We want to observe teachers, how they teach. We like to speak to parents of the school to know about what we've just said, about the support they get, for them to give us a feeling of what the school is like, from their point of view, from their experience. We also interview the management about the various policies, as we said, about how they choose their teachers, and about the school mission and vision for the future. We want to know that it's a reliable school, not that you start and then you don't know where the school is going to be in 2-3 years. And yeah, so as an advisory board, we have, I think, all the experience, both life experience, but also the professional experience, to tell other parents what a good school is all about. What expatriates do, especially these days, is they go on forums and they ask other parents questions, and they tend to go to certain schools because other parents have recommended those schools. Well, this is exactly what excellence in expat education is all about. We provide professionalism, but also the parent's perspective when it comes to the profile of a school. So
your team assesses schools on their academic achievements. We've already covered this, their facilities and the management style. But also you assess schools on expat transition support. So the first three, I would say, are fairly standard. But how important is the support that a school gives families when relocating?
It's very important, and this is exactly an area which lacks in a lot of schools. A lot of international schools know how to show you their academics, to demonstrate their academic standard. You can see the facilities for yourself, but when it comes to expat support, is non-existent. This having a system of expat support does not only benefit the parents, but also the school itself. So as I said, having this support helps the child transition into a new environment, but also the parents. Happy parents, happy school. That's what I have to say. When parents are happy and they understand how the school works, they are supportive of the school, they are happy to live in that particular country. They're not looking for information outside the school to compare or to understand how the system works. Expat support is vital to the good functioning of the school, but also simply for the parents' happiness in a new country and the child's happiness in a new country.
What advice would you give to families just starting out on their expat adventure?
Oh, lots of it. I've been an expat now for almost 20 years. So, yeah, a lifelong experience. In these times of pandemic, but also very important technology advancement and online communication, the first thing would be to join a local expat community. So if you know which country you're going to, which city you're going to, join a local expat community. Expatriates living there have the best first-hand experience for you, for everything, for life in the country, expenses, what it's like to live there as a family. Ask questions. Nothing is everything is important. Nothing is silly. You just ask questions about everything: finances, expenses, how to find a car. Just ask questions. Everything is important. Everything from safety to transportation to living standards. Your company is giving you the idea that this particular budget is enough to live there or here, but you don't know what that means to live in that particular country. Ask them, this is our budget, what can we afford, and is this a good area to live in? Make sure that you get support from the company that takes you to a particular country. Make sure that your expenses are paid for, and if they're not, make sure that the allowance is good enough to allow you a comfortable lifestyle, or the lifestyle that you're willing to put up with, or the lifestyle you're looking for. Studying the local language is an important aspect of moving abroad. Study the culture. Some cultures are very different from our own, and you can have shocking encounters only because you weren't prepared for it. Try to appreciate the country you live in. It might be different, it might be difficult, but appreciate the fact that you are in a foreign country and you have this opportunity to do so many things that are different from just watching a documentary about this country. So appreciate the country, appreciate the people who live there, appreciate their lifestyle, and maybe accept that you will never be one of them. This is probably for people who really want to live a long time in a particular country. You'll never be one of them, and that's okay. You are who you are, and as long as there's mutual respect, and as long as you're okay to live in that country, it's fine. Find local friends. this is very, very important to help you learn about the culture, learn the language, customs. Oh, save money. I, yes, yes, yes. It's very easy. You know, you live a new lifestyle and you want to enjoy it to its maximum potential. And for example, traveling is, oh, we want to see this, we're only here for 2 years, or we're only here for 3 years, or for a few months, and we want to go and explore. And but think about that one day, at one point, you probably have to move back home. You never know what life brings to you, and you have to be prepared. You need to take care of your savings.
You've given us a huge amount of information today. Thank you very much. It's been really interesting talking to you. Now, at the bottom of the screen, we have your website address, where if anybody's interested in contacting you, they can go there and find your contact details, your telephone number, and your email address. Thank you very much for joining me today.